Something profound is shifting in the cosmic landscape, and if you've been feeling it, that subtle but unmistakable sense that dormant parts of your life are stirring back to consciousness, you're not imagining it. The asteroid Vesta has just stationed direct in Scorpio, and while this celestial event may not make headlines, its impact on those attuned to its frequency is nothing short of transformational. For years, you may have carried the weight of feeling behind, as if everyone else received a roadmap you were never given. Those periods of apparent stagnation, the times when your life felt suspended while the world rushed forward around you, they weren't periods of failure or delay. They were incubation chambers, sacred pauses designed to prepare you for what's unfolding now. The aching sensation that time was slipping away while you stood still is about to be answered. Every invisible effort you made, every moment you held faith when logic suggested you let go, every decision to continue when quitting would have been easier. None of it was wasted. You didn't miss the signs, and you certainly didn't mess it all up. You were being prepared, calibrated for a precision that only comes through patient refinement. Vesta's direct motion in Scorpio represents one of those rare astrological events that operates like a master key, unlocking doors that have remained sealed until the exact moment of readiness. This isn't the boisterous energy of Jupiter or the dramatic flair of Mars. This is surgical precision, the kind of cosmic intervention that knows exactly where your soul paused and where it needs to resume. In the mythology of the heavens, Vesta represents the sacred flame, not the wild, consuming fire of passion, but the steady, eternal flame of devotion and purpose. When this energy moves through Scorpio, the sign of transformation and hidden depths, it creates a unique alchemical process. What was buried begins to surface. What was dormant starts to stir. What felt impossible suddenly becomes inevitable. The beauty of this transit lies in its subtlety. You won't necessarily witness fireworks or experience thunderclap realizations. Instead, you'll notice a gradual but undeniable shift in your internal compass. Where once you scattered your energy across multiple pursuits, you now find yourself naturally drawn to what truly matters. The magnetic pull toward your authentic path becomes stronger than the gravitational force of distraction. Here's what most people don't understand about spiritual development. Sometimes our greatest act of devotion isn't to a person, goal, or outcome, but to a mission we don't fully comprehend. For years, you may have found yourself circling back to the same themes, the same callings, the same inexplicable sense of purpose, even when logic suggested you pursue something more practical or immediately rewarding. This wasn't confusion or lack of direction. This was your soul's fidelity to something ancient, something that was established long before your conscious mind could articulate it. Vesta has been quietly weaving this thread through your life, ensuring that no matter how far you wandered, you would always find your way back to the essential work you came here to do. The sacred flame doesn't burn for those who are simply ready. It burns for those who have chosen themselves repeatedly, quietly, relentlessly, even when no one else witnessed their dedication. This choosing isn't a one-time decision, but a daily practice of alignment, a continuous returning to what matters most despite the noise of a world that often values the urgent over the important. As Vesta moves direct, you may notice that certain people, opportunities, or visions begin circling back into your awareness. This isn't nostalgia or wishful thinking. It's the universe's way of presenting you with the tools, connections, and circumstances that align with your deepest purpose. What once felt like closed doors are revealing themselves to have been doors that simply weren't ready to open until now. The reactivation process often feels like remembering rather than learning. You might find yourself drawn to projects you abandoned, reconnecting with people who share your vision, or discovering that skills you developed in seemingly unrelated contexts now serve a clear purpose. This convergence isn't coincidence. It's the natural result of years of preparation finally reaching its fruition point. Your energy, which may have felt scattered or depleted, begins to consolidate around what truly matters. The difference between this phase and previous attempts at focus is that now the concentration comes naturally. You're not forcing yourself to pay attention. Your attention is being drawn by something magnetic and undeniable. Within one of the most profound aspects of this transit is the restoration of what spiritual traditions call the inner temple, that sacred space within consciousness where clarity resides. Modern life, with its constant demands and distractions, often clouds this inner sanctuary, leaving us feeling disconnected from our deepest knowing. Under Vesta's direct influence in Scorpio, the veils begin to lift. Your meditation deepens naturally. Your dreams carry more significance. Your intuition speaks with greater clarity. This isn't about developing new spiritual abilities. It's about returning to capacities that were always yours but had been temporarily obscured. The temple isn't somewhere you go. It's something you remember how to be. It's the difference between lighting 1,000 candles and becoming the fireplace itself, steady, warm, contained, powerful. This internal reorientation creates a foundation stable enough to support the work that's about to unfold. The magnetic shift. Perhaps the most noticeable change during this period is the shift in what attracts and repels you. Things that once captured your attention, whether people, activities, or opportunities, may suddenly feel irrelevant or draining. Simultaneously, you might find yourself inexplicably drawn to specific individuals, places, or projects that align with your deeper purpose. This isn't about judgment or superiority, it's about resonance. Your internal tuning fork has been recalibrated to a more refined frequency, one that naturally gravitates toward what serves your highest expression while naturally repelling what doesn't. The pull you feel isn't based on desire or ambition. It's based on recognition, the soul's acknowledgement of what belongs in its orbit. This magnetic shift often manifests as a series of seemingly coincidental encounters or opportunities. A conversation overheard at the perfect moment, an unexpected message from someone you hadn't thought about in years, a book or article that appears exactly when you need its wisdom. These aren't accidents, but rather the universe's way of confirming that you're on the right path. The clarity that follows after months or years of confusion, the sudden clarity that accompanies Vesta's direct station, can feel almost overwhelming. Decisions that once required endless deliberation now seem obvious. Relationships that once felt complicated reveal their true nature with startling simplicity. The path forward, while perhaps challenging, no longer feels uncertain. This clarity often brings with it a sense of isolation, not because you're alone, but because you're no longer spinning in the same confusion that occupies much of the world. The internal debate has ended, replaced by a quiet but unshakable knowing. This can feel lonely at first, as part of you may miss the familiar chaos of indecision, but it's actually a sign of profound alignment. The discomfort you might feel is the old scaffolding of uncertainty falling away. The part of you that was addicted to struggle realizes it's no longer needed. This is the natural growing pains of evolution, the temporary disorientation that comes with stepping into a larger version of yourself. What emerges from this process isn't just personal clarity or individual success, but a clear understanding of your sacred assignment, the particular way you're meant to serve the larger whole. This assignment isn't grandiose or necessarily public-facing. It might be as simple as holding space for others' growth, creating beauty that inspires, or maintaining wisdom traditions for future generations. The key recognition is that this work isn't optional. It's not a career choice or hobby. It's the reason your soul chose this particular incarnation. Every experience you've had, every skill you've developed, every challenge you've overcome has been preparing you for this specific contribution. The beauty of recognizing your sacred assignment is that it requires no external validation. You know it's yours not because someone told you so, but because it fits perfectly with who you've always been underneath the layers of conditioning and compromise. It's the work you would do even if no one was watching, even if it brought no recognition, even if it seemed to benefit no one but your own sense of integrity. As this energy continues to unfold, you'll likely notice that what felt lost or stolen is being restored, not necessarily in its original form, but in a way that's more aligned with who you've become. Energy that was drained by inappropriate commitments returns. Creative inspiration that seemed to have dried up begins flowing again. The sense of purpose that felt buried under practical concerns resurfaces with renewed vitality. This restoration isn't a return to where you were before, but an elevation to where you were always meant to be. The detours, delays, and disappointments weren't obstacles to your path. They were the path itself, providing the depth and wisdom necessary to handle what's coming next. The flame that's being rekindled isn't the naive enthusiasm of youth, but the tempered fire of experience. It burns steadier, cleaner, with a heat that can sustain long-term creation rather than momentary inspiration. This is the fire of mastery, earned through years of quiet dedication and faithful persistence. The invitation now is not to chase this energy, but to work with it. The fire is already lit. Your job is to direct it wisely before it dissipates. This requires presence, not hustle. It demands authenticity, not performance. It calls for devotion, not mere enthusiasm. You're not starting from scratch. You're moving from a place of earned mastery. Everything you thought was lost is waiting for you at the next level, not as a repetition of the past, but as a restoration of what was always meant to be yours once you were ready to carry it responsibly. This is the beginning of embodiment, the phase where all the preparation transforms into purposeful action. The path ahead won't require you to be anyone other than who you already are. It will simply ask you to be that person more completely, more courageously, and with less apology than ever before. The years weren't lost. The time wasn't wasted. The flame was never extinguished. It was simply waiting for the perfect moment to illuminate the work you came here to do. That moment has arrived, and the only question remaining is whether you're ready to step fully into the light you've been preparing to carry all along. The sacred return is not a destination, but a remembering. What's awakening now was never actually asleep. It was simply waiting for you to develop the strength, wisdom, and clarity necessary to honor it fully. The wait is over. The work begins now.